Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, and today I want to talk about Fable 4. Now, that may seem a little bit random, a little bit out of the blue, given that we haven't, technically speaking, had any official confirmation or any official announcements for this game, but part of the reason I want to do that is because there have been some rumours doing the rounds on the internet. Admittedly, there have kind of been rumours for the past 2 years, but some of the more recent rumours suggest that it might not be that long till we get our first look at this game. So I thought what I'd do in this video is talk about that stuff, round up everything we have currently heard about the game. Yes, of course, anytime we talk about rumours, you should take this stuff with a massive pinch of salt until it comes from the official sources, until Microsoft is like, hey, here's your Fable 4 trailer. All of this could be complete and utter rubbish. However, when you take a look at some of the more recent stuff, the timelines do definitely make sense. So let's start there. Rumour has it that in May, which of course is not that long away, Microsoft are supposedly going to be having a proper console reveal. Now, up until now, they've given us little snippets. They've, kind of dropped that initial teaser trailer for the Xbox Series X. They've spoken about some of the tech specs. They've done things like that, but they haven't had an official, when you think about it in the traditional sense, their kind of console reveal event where they talk about it, they show loads of games, that kind of stuff. And rumour has it there's going to be some kind of event in May. Meanwhile, in June, which of course is when we would have had E3, obviously in light of the current situation, E3 in itself, or E3 in the kind of traditional sense, isn't going to happen. A lot of companies have gone on record to say that they will be doing something to fill that E3 void, and there are also rumours that Microsoft will also be having their own kind of big event in June. Now, supposedly these kind of two events quite close together. The console reveal event is supposed to be in May. Meanwhile, June is supposed to be quote-unquote packed with games, so hopefully over the next couple of months we'll see quite a lot from Microsoft. But either way, part of the reason I want to speak about that is because supposedly in one of these upcoming events is when we'll be seeing our first look at Fable 4. Again, massive pinch of salt. Anybody can say their uncle works at Microsoft, so, make of this what you will. However, apparently, according to the post and according to the leaker, Fable 4 is going to be revealed, and it's said to be a fantasy monster. I guess when they kind of refer to it in that sense, they're talking about the scale of it, the sheer scale of it. Supposedly, the game is said to have a handcrafted world mixed with procedural generation that's going to then allow the developers to make the game much larger in scale than they otherwise would have been able to. Supposedly, Fable 4 will also be joined by other new IP from an unnamed Japanese studio, along with the reveal of an Obsidian game and the new Forza Motorsport game as well. So that's, some of the things to supposedly look forward to in the reveal event. But let's talk more specifically about Fable 4. Let's kind of do a little rewind and talk about everything we've heard up until this point. Obviously, Lionhead, the studio that originally created Fable, has since closed. That was, of course, incredibly sad to see that studio shut down. However, despite the fact they've shut down, way back in 2017, Phil Spencer actually said that the series wasn't, in fact, dead, and that it did still have places to go. So despite the fact there was no Lionhead, it was not going to just kind of be put into the archive, so to speak. Now, all signs right now are actually pointing to Playground Games, the studio behind Forza Horizon. Supposedly, they are the ones working on Fable. Now, that might seem a little bit weird, thinking about kind of going from something like Forza into something like Fable, but Playground are an incredibly talented studio. They have a lot of great potential there, and they're definitely good at working with big open worlds, so I'd definitely be interested to see what they could do with that. According to a 2018 Eurogamer report, Playground has been chipping away at an open world game for quite a few years now, and, for a while people didn't necessarily know what it was going to be, but as it transpires, or at least as rumours suggest, that uncertain game was actually the next Fable. According to Eurogamer's sources, it was being developed as an open-world action RPG with around 200 people on the project at the time. Of course, that was, back then. I'm sure they would have massively scaled up since then, but Playground has beefed up its new studio just for this title, so whatever it is, it's definitely not a simple side project. And recently, or I say recently again, this was probably, a year ago or so, but there were several scriptwriters from Batman Arkham Knight who also joined Playground Games to work on the rumoured Fable 4 title. That was reported by VGC. As of August 2019, the Arkham Knight senior scriptwriter Kim McCaskill, Martin Lancaster, and Craig Owens are all also apparently working on this project. So there's definitely a lot of studio shifting, a lot of people kind of jumping around and whatnot, and generally speaking, when people kind of gravitate towards those, it's to work on some exciting new projects. So they're definitely working on something which is exciting. Now, to kind of go a little bit further than that, this is again where I would emphasize taking this with a pinch of salt. This came up on a Reddit post. There was, of course, somebody that kind of dropped some interesting points about supposedly what the next Fable would include. This was, of course, part of a video which was since taken down, but some of the kind of top line details for this is that it will be both a first and third person game. Nothing kind of crazy new there. There will supposedly be in-depth character creation. That better mean there are good beards. Honestly, Fable's kind of had beards in the past, but hey, if you're going to go in depth, give me a plethora of beards, please. Supposedly the game will also be completely open. There will be no guns, and of course that's an interesting departure because of course guns were an available option beforehand. And there's also supposedly a means to completely ignore the main quest and never become a hero, which is rather interesting. You know, Fable is often one of those games that's given you quite a lot of freedom to kind of go and do things that you want, but ultimately, in any kind of game like this, you typically still gravitate towards the golden line eventually. You work your way back to the main quest, but if there is a way to completely ignore it, never become the hero, and kind of play the game however you want, that would be quite interesting. Additionally, supposedly players are able to build towns, and this will apparently tie heavily into the main quest, especially if you get the bad ending and you fail. There'll also be multiplayer. Now, I don't know whether they reference that in a kind of different manner to co-op, because of course Fable has given us the opportunity to play co-op before, but if they mean multiplayer in a kind of more conventional like versus sense, that'll be interesting to see, and supposedly it's all being developed in the Unreal Engine. Now, there is kind of a little excerpt here on some of the themes behind it. Albion and Aurora apparently gone. The lands have been reduced to fables. The Spire was then apparently rebuilt and used by Mad King to wish that an asteroid would strike the planet. He then also wished that it would happen again in the far future. And apparently, eons later, everything is new, medieval theme this time, new continents, that kind of stuff. And you then supposedly have to stop the destruction of this planet again. Teresa and a Heroes Guild are preserved on another planet via a demon door, and time travel is apparently heavily involved in play, which is going to be rather interesting. So the fact that this takes place further in the future, in new continents with apparently time travel, this is where things start to get kind of crazy, right? I mean, Fable's always had a bit of a wacky story, and, you know, anything is technically speaking possible, but when you kind of start going down that route, honestly, only time will tell. However, rather interestingly, when it comes to what the game may look like, it's possible we may have had our first look at something like Fable 4. There's a new image that's doing the rounds online, and a lot of people are thinking that this may well be our first look at Fable 4, or at least kind of the style the game may look. The image was actually pulled from a video by Quixel, showing off the Megascans ecosystem tool that's basically a tool that you use with Unreal Engine. It's a photogrammetry technology that apparently Playground are using for their RPG. And it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen one of these kind of tech demo videos that then features assets, maybe not exactly as they would appear in game, but assets that are then, you know, very close to the final product. You think back to when they showed off the tech demo about Unreal Engine and it featured some of the like early Borderlands 3 shots, which then of course transpired to be Moe's later on. So, you know, even if this isn't an exact screenshot from Fable 4, it could well be that this is the visual style they're going for, the kind of look and feel they're going for, and honestly, if that is the case, this looks fantastic. But again, take it with a massive pinch of salt, it could also be nothing. But either way, as it currently stands, that is what we have on Fable 4. That's the kind of rumours, that's the sort of roundup on the stories up until this point. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Are any of you guys Fable fans? Are you massively looking forward to whatever the next one is? I personally cannot wait for it. Had a lot of fun playing the previous Fables. Honestly, I cannot wait to see what they do with the next one. But either way, for the time being, that is pretty much it. If there is an event next month, then of course you can guarantee we'll be keeping you guys bang up to date, covering everything we possibly can. And similarly, if there's a bigger event in June, I'm sure there will be lots of E3 talk, even if E3 in itself isn't running in the conventional sense. There'll be lots of stuff to look forward to. So keep it locked, because of course, once we hear more, I'll keep you guys bang up to date. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there. If you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with, it's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.